Welcome to One Way to Machines and the Volvo P1 series. So here with the V50, there's our mileage. We're gonna go for a little drive here to show that the bearing has really shown that it's on the passenger side, okay? So before, at the beginnings of the problem, it would not make different sounds when you would change load, say going from side to side, okay, which is normal of cars. But now it has really localized itself now that it's developed. So it's not from the driver's side, it's from the passenger side, which again, I've done so much stuff with this car, and these cars have just always been known to eat bearings even when they were newer. So it's hard to tell, but at least it's localized now that the kilometers have gone up. So if you follow the series, you can tell kind of. So you can hear it right now, but watch, when we start making this left turn here, I'll give it some more load. You can hear it, ready? Well, that's weird. I mean, right now it's kind of making, you see we're going straight dead on right now. So even when you're going straight, it's making the bearing noise. Yesterday, it wasn't making the bearing noise at all when I was going straight. So it's tough, but if you drive the car all the time, which is your car, there will be instances, okay, when the bearing will only show itself on the side that is bad, okay? When you make, say, a sharp left turn, the right side will show the sound. If it's on the left side, sharp right turn will make the sound, okay? And just swaying back and forth a little bit. So that wasn't really a successful show, but I mean, it was doing it yesterday, so it's, just thought I'd point that out. Okay, so the bearing is on the table. We've got strip bolts on the driver's side, so I want to prevent doing that, but we might do both. The cold start squeal has had a theory shown on the forums that maybe carbon is there when it starts at the cold start and then it goes away once it warms up on the exhaust manifold gasket. That's definitely not the case with this car, at least until we pull the motor and check, because when you turn on the car in this colder weather we've been having, it's completely gone away. So it's completely counter what would make sense. In the summer, it would squeal on cold start and then it would go away. Now that the weather's been colder for the past month, it doesn't squeal at all on cold start. So the weather hasn't been properly cold, but I'll make a video with clips of every cold start that I do in recent times coming up so that you can see. Now, why my car has now shown itself to be an odd case of cold start squeal, and why most of you, this is not relative, this series, in any way to your problem, is because I finally found this invoice from the previous owner that shows that the exhaust manifold studs were changed at a reputable Quebec Volvo shop, and that mine have simply backed off because I drive the car hard. Okay, they were installed properly, they're all new. I'll insert the picture and maybe do a voiceover on it here. I distinctly remember when buying this car, the previous owner said that he was choking on the fumes in traffic, which is why the exhaust manifold and studs were changed. Obviously, I never heard it because this was repaired before I got it, but the closest that you'll get in terms of the common bad squeal that these cars can have when you got to do that job, I have a video of the silver car on the channel. It's in a video called Inspect Volvo P1, and that silver car has the exhaust manifold stud issue, not in the sense that this car, my car current, has. That one has it because the studs are most likely broken, they're all backed off, there's rust, it's never been touched, okay? The way my car's symptoms were, and with the one tightening we did months back in one of the earlier parts, how this issue kind of went away on its own, and it was always minor to begin with. That is this case. So your case is most likely the other one. Mine is very rare, so service records would really help you determine if you have my case, which is less severe, or you have one of those cases, which is a big job. Now, this is something any competent mechanic can do. It's not a hard job. Exhaust manifold studs break on lots of brands of cars, but the aluminum head is very soft, okay? They got to have a real good touch not to make this worse. You don't just give it to any mechanic on your street, okay? I hope that makes some sense. all right? Like, it is not an overly specialist requiring job. It is also not a job you give to anybody to do. To do it at home, DIY, you can. But again, anytime I've discussed this, my thing is pull the motor if you want to do it at home. Have the space, pull the motor. Because if you go to a shop or something, I mean, look at the invoice that I have from a couple years ago. Even now, I don't see the labor costing more than $500. If it's really bad and they snap studs or something, then it could be up to $800. People talk about warped cylinder heads and stuff that cause this. It's possible, okay? I don't think it's a very common thing, but again, I'm just guessing there. So if they do break flush, yeah, even a shop is going to have a hard time getting it out, and they might want more labor hours from you, and I think it's fine to pay that, okay? It's a tough thing, but again, they have the tips and tricks and skills, a good mechanic shop, like an experienced one, to be able to do that job. Because if you start breaking stuff in your garage, yeah, you can say, I want to do it myself, I'll do it, I'll figure it out, but you are going to pull your hairs out by the time you finish this job. So it's your call. I mean, for this and a bunch of other stuff, like even for the block mod on this car, engine out, engine out. This isn't an Audi, okay? But these Volvos too, now that they've aged, they're very old cars. Lots of people are neglecting them. Engine out is not such a bad idea for a lot of these repairs, especially for you Northeast and Canadian people with rusted cars. I mean, all this stuff can be done with the engine in the car, but these cars are reliable enough that they run normally with what's there. And for most DIY level skill people, I would say take the engine out. Even for myself, if I ever do the block mod, I'm going to remove the engine. I may do the Elevate tune on this car with this higher mileage, and I think it'll be fine because that tune wakes the car up enough. A lot of people don't have the space to pull the engine or do the complexity of the block mod and everything that's required if they live in an apartment or something. So even if it's one last hurrah for the $2,000 P1s, some of them, okay, a lot of them people are taking care of. I really hope more people take care of them. Block mods, big mods, everything, okay? I may get another one of these in the future. But for the average P1 owner, we're just going to try that. I don't think the cylinder walls will crack with an Elevate Stage 1 tune. And I know for a fact that it wakes up the car enough to make it fun to drive. I mean, even this car with the stock tune right now, if you're a decent driver and you like to zip through traffic, it'll get the job done. Far better than any stock 4-cylinder Audi. Okay? It's a 5-cylinder. These cars never got the appreciation, and they're great cars. Okay, P1 Volvos, they were slept on for years and now they're old. So I don't know. Hopefully there's enough good Southern ones on. So enough of this ramble here, and let's get back to the content of this video. But the point is, most of your problems are going to be with rust, okay, that has broken off the studs. There's all kinds of thoughts people have on them being oval, not reusable, the nuts on the back. But this is just a problematic point of this car, okay? It's something you're gonna have to deal with, most likely if it's never been touched. And here, on mine, a car that this job was done at 226,000 kilometers. After 20 to 30K, the problem is almost back, okay? The tightenings have magically recently, it's all gone, the squeals, as you've seen, but we'll see what happens. But I just want to show that the case of this entire parts series so far, this car is a very odd case of new studs and nuts that have caused problems. It doesn't have anything to do with the broken or old studs and nuts issues that most people have. Interestingly enough, here's a new thing for testing bearings without a stethoscope or jacking the car up, all that stuff, for those of you who just do stuff. I was on a downhill when it was making the bearing noise and I was going straight earlier in this video. Now I'm on the same street going uphill, and that bearing noise only wants to show itself on the right side most likely, because as I'm going up, there's no real load on the front as much as there were when we were coming down. So let's try it now, okay? You see, it's much quieter than it was in the clip before. Well, Not really, now that the speed picked up. But okay. See, on that right turn, it really quieted down. Now it's coming back as we're going straight. Okay, so again, that whole going straight with the bearing noise thing, it's random, all right? You just drive your car all the time and pay attention for those instances, because that's what'll show you which side bearing you're gonna change if you don't want to just go all out and do all the arms and bearings on both sides at once. Okay, left turn coming up. Okay, that turn was a bit slow, so it didn't show much. Let's go left turn here. Again, today for some reason at these lower speeds, yesterday it was showing it, which is why I decided to make this video. Okay, look, going straight on. Ready? Right. Dies off. Dies off. When I turn right, it dies off. Okay, so you see it did start to show itself a little bit there, and that was also on an uphill. So the uphill thing isn't really a big deal, but it might help a little bit in helping you diagnose which side the bearing is on, if your car doesn't have a consistent, easy howl. On my A4, it was so easy because it would howl like crazy on the right side whenever you turn to the left.